Hello, my name is Xander Miller at Kenosha Public Library. I'm here with the 63rd for 30 project and with Kenny Harper. How are you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I've been here for a little bit. It's a little hot, but it's just hot outside right now. Summer's
Yeah.
here.
Well, we can't complain about the weather being beautiful. This is kind of in Wisconsin what we hope for after those treacherous winters that we have all the time.
Yeah, we didn't get a fifth winter this year, but so Kenny, what neighborhood or what area are you from in Kenosha?
So I actually live in the Forest Park area. So
Okay.
it's kind of one of my favorite areas of town. It's nice and quiet, quaint, just a really peaceful area of town.
Okay. So what do you think or what have you felt is the Kenosha culture?
Kenosha is a very diverse culture. I grew up in Chicago, and I came to Kenosha about a little bit over 20 years ago, I would say. And I never really experienced the diversity that I see in Kenosha. Where I grew up, there was one group of people, you got black people here, you got another group of people here, but you never really traveled outside of your area or your neighborhood. And to be in Kenosha, I kind of had to adapt to being around different races of people all the time. At the time when I came to Kenosha, I was in my early 20s, and we had moved from Chicago to Northern Illinois, and I felt like as a level of independence that I'd cross that border 5 minutes and go in another state, and it was this huge experience for me to be independent. And I landed in Kenosha. I love it. I found my kids are here. Well, my youngest two are here, and just a beautiful place to raise a family.
So it's really raising a family different. It's diverse here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all that's meant a lot to you because it came with that individuality, or?
Well, one thing that really meant a lot to me is the togetherness and the family atmosphere in that diversity. Over the years, I've met several people that I still consider friends to this day, and the supportive nature and watching people grow. I have friends that I've known since they were 17, 18 years old, and now are in their 30s, late 30s, early 40s, and are very successful individuals making an impact in the community. So just to see that growth in people is pretty huge, and you're not living in a big city where people just go off and do their own thing, but you live in a tight-knit community where people grow and become figures in the community as well.
Okay. So where have you seen that growth kind of blossom into something great in the community?
So I spent 20 years working in the healthcare field, working in nursing homes and hospitals, and just watching people. A number of my friends are nurses or are still in the medical profession, but just watching people care for the community, and that's kind of where I started. When I started, I started as a nursing assistant and didn't realize exactly the impact that I was having. And fast forward 20 years, now I'm a business owner, and those same families that I took care of from a medical standpoint, now I'm able to take care of them in my business. So just the way the community supports each other and the love and the strength that I've seen in this community is unmatched.
Yeah. And so the past year, I have to ask this since you worked in, health. The past year we've been dealing with, global pandemic, of course.
Mm-hmm.
How have you seen Kenoshans deal with this pandemic? What have you thought of it?
Well, first of all, fortunately, I got out of healthcare right before the pandemic hit, probably about a year before the pandemic hit. But what I've seen from Kenosha is resilience, and that's kind of what I've noticed over the years, that Kenosha residents are really resilient. We kind of band together and make everything work. Like no matter what happens, no matter what issues I've seen over the years, you just see a willingness to be a support. I can go back to a snowstorm that we had, I want to say it was maybe like 2008, maybe I think it was, where there's a lot of snow, and you can just see neighbors, and that's not uncharacteristic for Wisconsin, but you just see neighbors shoveling each other's snow, people coming through with plow trucks and snow blowers, and just helping each other out. And the togetherness in the neighborhoods is something that I wasn't used to, and it took a lot for me to get used to, but it's definitely welcoming.
Yeah, and that's what's making Kenosha real nice for you, is that togetherness, helpfulness.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that I noticed once I originally crossed the border was the big football rivalry between the Bears and the Packers. I'm a huge Bear fan, so I mean it kind of, you know, that makes things fun. You know, having your neighbor, you might be a Bear fan and your neighbor's a Packer fan, and during the football season you kind of sort of hate each other, but overall you get along, and you know there's this friendly rivalry, and it's just a really good time.
Yeah. So what's one way that you saw people come together during the pandemic?
Really, a lot of people making donations, doing different projects, checking on their neighbors. I know one girl in particular, she made food baskets for her delivery people, so she had snacks put out when they, you know, the Amazon or FedEx guys would deliver. She'd have snacks come out, just the way that the community cared for each other. And, you know, it's just, how can I put it, just really heartfelt how the community has come together.
So I guess then, what else would you like to see in Kenosha? Like, what else what's something you'd like to see Kenosha either become or move towards?
More diversity in business, more diversity in city government. I like to see more people that look like me in positions of authority in the city. And not necessarily because of race or anything like that, but just so that the people in government look exactly like what Kenosha really is. There's not one particular person that looks the same in Kenosha. You go in a neighborhood, and the neighborhoods aren't segregated. You find every race, every creed, every color in these neighborhoods. So why not our businesses, our city government look the same way as our people do? You know, just to be more of a representation of what you see every day.
So from what you've seen, you know, the people in the city, it's very diverse. That was, you know, shocking for you at first.
Absolutely.
And everyone interacts, it comes together, but when it comes to business, when it comes to government, that isn't there.
No, what I don't see is a diversity in business or in government.
Okay.
Now, I've been fortunate enough to have a level of support that is completely unmatched, and really, I wouldn't say it's surprising, I would say it's comforting. I mean, I'm almost humbled by the amount of support and things I receive from my business. I have people all the time just walking in off the street, coming in to support or you know, even give me the opportunity to serve them. And I think that's what makes this a wonderful place. Like, I don't have, I can't say that the majority of my clients are black. I can't say the majority of them are white. I can say that I have a very diverse client base, and that's fun. That gives me the opportunity to not service one segment of people, but to service the community.
But when you see, you know, when you see in our government and other businesses, that's not the case from the owners or the leaders there, or?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the case is, but I know that it's more of what I would like to see. I like the children to know that no matter what, they have an opportunity to thrive and to grow in this city, and that you can live your dreams here. You don't have to go to a big city to live your dreams. You can live your dreams right here at home, and you can be the change that you want to see.
So part of giving hope, not just for not just for yourself, but for kids too.
Exactly. That's the kids are the seeds of our neighborhood, the foundation of what this city is going to look like 20 or 30 years from now. So my goal is to be able to be that light, be that resource, be that person that basically not came from here, but has grown as a resident here and become successful. Not that I can say that I'm at the level where I feel like I'm 100% successful, but I'm at a point where I enjoy what I do every day, and I want to be the example to show people that you can do that. Kenosha is a real blue collar town. People love to work. People work long hours, especially in healthcare, and that's what I'm familiar with. But people work long hours. People really care about what they do, and people care about their community. So, I just want people to understand that there's opportunity for everybody, and not to feel like there isn't.
Yeah. So, in what ways would you like to see support for more opportunities for people in Kenosha and the communities in Kenosha?
More programs for that support entrepreneurship, more opportunities for internships for young people to grow, to get that real life experience. Because as you know, you can have a degree and work that job, or have a degree and have the knowledge of a specific area, but until you get into that field and actually get your hands wet in that field, you really don't know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of young people leave the area after college to pursue different opportunities, and they're pretty much good opportunities here in town. And we can grow and show the world that we're not just a small city, but a wonderful place to raise a family, like I've experienced over the years.
Yeah, so more growth, more retention of people through mm-hmm. mentoring, through support programs,
right?
Keeping people here. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's great.
And even the people that are here, another thing with maybe reentry programs that truly support people coming from the prison environment that want change. There's a lot of opportunity for reform in that area, where we need to support the people coming home so we don't have repeat offenders, and we're not growing our prison system yet, instead growing our communities.
Yeah, this is kind of a theme. It's like growth, support mm-hmm. people here, because the people here are great. It sounds like. Oh yeah. It sounds like you've had just a lot of good. I'm just so happy to hear that Kenosha's treated you so well.
Mm-hmm. And I can't say that all my experiences have been wonderful. I mean, I've had some adverse situations, but overall, I could say that this has been a great place to grow and become an adult. Mm-hmm. In my past in Chicago, I could have been in any environment. I probably would not be sitting here talking to you today if I was still there. So just the opportunity to be an adult, to be able to see my boys grow up and be a resource for the community, and to do the things that I'm doing today is a privilege for me. That's why I'm so humbled to live in the neighborhoods, and I enjoy it so much, and I'm so excited about it. It's because I know that it works. More programs for after school activities, like the kids, and I focus on the children only because I'm a dad. I'm a dad first before anything. So I really believe that programs that foster a good environment for the kids help grow successful neighborhoods. If we can start there and again water those seeds that are already here, then we just setting the building blocks for a better community.
Wow. So, if you had, had the chance to like look at either leadership, someone in Kenosha, you had one thing that you wanted to say, wanted to, get that out there. What would that be for you?
Be a person of your word. Don't just say things to get votes or to make people happy. Be the change again that you want to see, and not just have the conversation. Mm-hmm. I feel a lot of times in Kenosha there's a lot of conversation, and instead of conversation, I believe that we need more action. We need less talking and more boots on the ground, actually doing what it is that people say they want to do.
So for you, like when it's coming to those entrepreneur classes, when it comes to doing those mentorship programs, people have said that, then they got to do it, right?
That's right. That's right. And I've always said from day one, since I truly decided that I wanted to be a resource for the community, that my door is open. If my business model is, if I know something, I'm going to teach it. And teaching is always not necessarily about an invoice. It's about creating a opportunity for youth or older people, whoever, to have a freedom of expression. Mm-hmm. I was able to do a program, a youth program, and just for example, I bumped into one of the graduates outside my office the other day, and it was really good to see the young man. So the first thing I said was, next time you by my office, don't just sit outside and go into one of the neighboring businesses. Come in and say hello. I don't care if I'm with a client, I don't care what I'm doing. You always got the right to come in and say hello. So, just making the kids feel, like they're wanted and like they're a part of something. I remember growing up in Chicago, they used to have sports leagues, and the Park District used to sponsor these sports leagues, and we were fortunate enough to be on a football team. Now, I wasn't the most athletic, I wasn't one of the best players on the team, but what that taught us was friendship, camaraderie. It taught us competitiveness, and we had fun, and a lot of the relationships that were formed in those couple of years on those teams are still in place today. So I think that's huge for our kids to have expanded opportunities in sports and after school activities. Also, I feel it's important for the schools to start to put in finance, to start to put in financial literacy, and start teaching the basics of being an adult and what it looks like financially.
Yeah, so it seems like when it comes to people, for kids being a part of something, it's kind of like how you feel part of Kenosha. Mm-hmm. You want that feeling to be with the kids as they grow up, and then they can stay part of Kenosha.
That's right.
Get their dreams done in Kenosha.
That's right.
That's what you're aiming for.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. I feel like, again, it's about planting those seeds. And you think about when you start a lawn. Sometimes you got patches here, you got patches there, but you plant those seeds, you nurture that lawn, you water it properly, and in a few months, few weeks, you'll see it grow. And that's kind of the same concept that I envision for Kenosha. And just what I've witnessed over the past few years, and just what I know. I mean, a lot of the things could be better around here if there was a little bit more time spent on programs that build, and just creating those things, recreation and education, and making it more entertaining for the kids and giving them an opportunity to be successful. And if we're talking about past the kids going into adulthood, creating more opportunities for internships or what's the word I'm looking for? an ability to get into the trades for those that necessarily don't want to go to college. This is a perfect time for that. So if we were able to bring in big corporations like when Chrysler was here and things like that, I think that'd be huge for the city. You hear people all the time that work for Chrysler or American Motors talk about the benefit of being employed by that company and how they took pride in working for that company, and how because of that company and because of the way that company treated them, they were able to stay in Kenosha. So I think that'd be huge in the growth as well.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have those companies here. We have Snap-on, for example, in the area, and even next door, I know Pleasant Prairie has even like a lot of things. The opportunities are there. It's just building the pathways there, whether it's, I think, apprenticeships, mentorships, those types of things.
And I think Kenosha is a perfect gateway between Chicago and Milwaukee. And you got all of these people migrating from city to city. Well, guess what they have to pass through to get to where they're going?
Yep, Kenosha.
This beautiful place called Kenosha. I was actually, whenever I'm talking to people or whenever I'm on a Zoom call or people find out that I'm from Kenosha, they always point out beautiful landmarks in Kenosha, whether it be Frank's Diner or the lakefront or Common Grounds or the Spot or different parts of Kenosha that's really stuck out to them. I've got friends that may visit maybe once a year. You got the museum. So there's all these beautiful things, and honestly, I could say that I took those things for granted because I did. I lived in what I refer to as my little bubble, my little neighborhood with, my neighbors, and I'd make sure my kids got to school, introduce myself to their teachers and all of that stuff, but never really dug deep into what all of the things Kenosha had to offer. And once I started to do that, that's when I started to fall more in love with being here.
Wow. That's like an incredible story to tell. That's so good. I'm really thankful that you were able to give us that experience.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say for?
Well, I mean, I really do again appreciate the opportunity, and the only other thing that I would love to see is more arts, more adult nightlife, more focus on how wonderful the city really is.
Wow. Thank you so much once again.
No problem. Thank you for having me.